Ghosts, monastic life, and Scandinavian legends. What do these three things have in common? They are all an integral part of the stories written by an unnamed monk of Byland Abbey. A quick trip to North Yorkshire, England, would reveal a sight as haunting as the ghost stories written there. There is little left of the monastery now. Only some of the abbey's walls remain standing, but it is an important paranormal site in its own right. In 1290, a strange silver disc was spotted hovering over the abbey. Little else has been written on this event. It was around 1400 that the monk of Byland Abbey began writing down local ghost encounters. While the stories themselves are Catholic in tone, usually requiring that a spirit of the deceased repent for a sin they committed in life, they contain elements of classic Danish and Scandinavian folklore, namely in the fact that the ghosts in question, while mischievous, are not entirely evil, and also in the way they transform into or out of inanimate objects. These are some of the monk's stories. Richard Roundtree set out with a group on a pilgrimage to Spain. At the time, his wife was pregnant. Prior to leaving, Richard had been designated to be his own son's godfather. While away, his wife gave birth, but the baby was stillborn. To avoid the extra work of having to baptize the child, the midwives involved in the birth wrapped the lifeless baby in a stocking and give it a quick burial. The night this occurred, it was Richard's turn to stay awake on guard duty, as the roads weren't always safe. During his watch, Richard encountered a ghostly procession. A marching parade of spirits walked along the path before him. At the back was a tightly tied stocking, rolling on the ground. Richard walked up to the strange-looking ghost to ask what it was. The stocking replied with the voice of a child. The ghostly child explains to Richard that he is his son, who has been buried in secret by the midwives without being baptized. Richard immediately gives his shirt to the child and also gives the child a name. This frees him from the tied stocking, allowing the child to not only walk upright, but also cross over into the afterlife. In one translation, Richard brings home the stocking his son discarded. When only one stocking is found at home, Richard produces the one that he brought along with him and uses it to question the midwives about the truth of the burial of his son. The child's unfinished business, namely burial without baptism and lack of a name, result in his ghostly condition. It is his father's clothing and the provision of a name that offer him the chance to cross over. Richard is also shown to be a virtuous man, capable of charity and compassion. But this tale also reflects on the sinful characteristics of human nature, including the deceitfulness of the midwives. Additionally, Richard taking the role of his own son's godfather is mentioned in this tale, and serves as a warning to others as this was considered to be an impious act. The monk of Byland also recounted the tale of the son of Robert Bottleby of Kilbourne, who died and was buried in the local graveyard. After his death, it became his custom to go forth from his grave at night and disturb and frighten the villagers. The dogs in the village followed behind him, barking ferociously. Finally, the young men of the village were talking together and they proposed to capture him in any way they could. They met at the graveyard, but at the sight of him, they all fled except for two. Of them, Robert Foxton grabbed the revenant as he was going out of the graveyard and put him on the church stile. His friend shouted bravely, "Hold him tight till I get there." Robert yelled back, "Run to the parish priest who can conjure him. For God willing, what I've got, I'll hold him till the priest gets here." His friend hurried swiftly to the parish priest, and he came and conjured the ghost. So conjured, the ghost started speaking, not with his tongue, but from deep within his innards, echoing like an empty barrel. He confessed various sins. After the priest heard these, he gave him absolution, but he cautioned the two young men who had captured the ghost not to reveal any part of his confession. Afterwards, they left the ghost to rest in peace.